Question number one. In this topic, okay, I believe this is related to topic week one. Okay, in this topic, he discussed what does it mean in taking responsibility. Remember, we talked about the five elements. One of them is purpose and responsibility, right? So, what does it mean by taking responsibility? All right. So I know I've talked a lot, so I'm just gonna probably pass it on to Eric and Lisa first, and after that, Kita will speak. And
I'll take responsibility.
who wants to take a responsibility?
Yeah. Where do I start? Yeah, talking about responsibility.
What does it mean by taking
Taking
responsibility?
responsibility. I think the first skill, the world will be much more different, maybe, when you remember the first sin, what happened after Eve took the fruit and ate it, and then God asked, "Where are you? Where are you guys? Hey, Adam, Eve, where are you?" And then they're afraid, they hide, and then the first word come out from Adam, what? This girl made me eat it. Right? Right? That's part of taking out the responsibilities. What happened if Adam realized and he took responsible and God, I know I took the blame, I ate the fruits and I asked for forgiveness. I think the story will be different. But that's the first sin. We don't want to take responsible. So taking responsible is the first skill that everyone must have, especially responsible to build our relationship to God, that are responsible. Because without that responsible, without building that relationship to God, and we take out that responsibility to others, or taking responsibility to the circumstances, or taking responsibility to the communities. What happened to me? I'm not responsible. It's her responsible. What happened to me? It's not my responsible. It's the circumstances. It's not my responsible. It's the working space. It's not my responsible. It's the boss who's feeling that. Right? So taking responsible how you respond, taking responsible how you react, it's really important to like a foundation to build a relationship. That's for my point. I'm responsible for that. Exactly.
Well, when you've been with a person for a long, long time, you probably came to a state that everything was so common. And in our marriage, we have that state that I know everything about him and I know everything about me, so why should I work on something new? And we came for years that our marriage state was so boring because we stopped taking responsibilities. And I put blames on something that my happiness is depend on him. So when I'm unhappy, I blame him for everything that he did. So I stopped taking a responsibility to myself, to build myself, and even to build my relationship with God. So I remember when the Israelites, God took them from Egypt, there's three things that they did that make God sad. First is complainers, they complain all the time. And they self-pitiers, like they feel like, oh, why do you have to bring us here? There's no food here, no water here. And then blame others, blame Moses for that. So that three things actually what sin has brought to our life. So when we apply that to our relationship, I did all those three on our first years of marriage. So it was so difficult and rough. So I blame him for everything that's not, even though we've been together for 8 years, it's not that, it doesn't mean that everything's gonna be okay. Because we've experienced some turbulence. and not so long that a fight become a quarrel, and then it back like a dispute. And on the 4 years of marriage, I speak that word. I want a divorce. So I stopped. I stopped taking responsibility because I didn't build myself. I didn't build my relationship with God. I didn't build my identity with God. So I blame Him for everything that's uncomfortable for me. So taking responsibility means that you want to keep working on. So there's a priest that told me a relationship is like this. When a guy want an apple in a tree, he jumps, right? He wants to reach that apple. And after he reach it, why do I have to jump? I get the apple. So that was the state of our marriage before. Like we stopped cultivating or nurturing that relationship. We stopped cultivating ourselves. We stopped taking responsibility. And then it becomes so boring. And even with our relationship with God, our relationship with each other, or even with others. So that's from my perspective.
Okay. Responsibility. For me is if in the intentional action to do something. If you don't have any like a willingness to take something or to do something or to think that I have to do something, then it's not a responsibility. Okay, that's literally what I know about taking responsibility, and it's not measured by how mature you are, but it's anywhere, anytime, how old you are. Taking responsibility is like an action process for you to take or to do something. Do you agree with that? Like responsibility is something that you have to do or you have to pursue, right? Okay. The first thing is that I just wanna like you guys believe 100% with Jesus.
Like taking responsibility means like everything needs to be you, because we are created again as the children of God. We are created as the one that needs to take dominion over everything. That's our creation. That's our creation mandate. So it is our responsibility. If the world is messy, that as children of God, that's our responsibility. Going up to the smaller scale, the sense of responsibility is given by God before He actually introduced us to anyone, before Adam was introduced to Eve. So Adam needs to know, hey, I'm responsible. I'm responsible for my happiness. I'm responsible for my relationship with God. I'm responsible for the seasons that I'm in right now. Like depending on where you are right now, if you're in school, who's responsible for your marks? I am responsible for my marks. If I'm in a workplace, I am responsible in doing my job. I am responsible for my financial situation. I'm responsible for different situations that you're in. First, we need to take that responsibility. I'm here, and I'm responsible for it. Because if you don't get that secured, you're gonna start a relationship and start thinking that whoever that you are in relationship with is responsible for that. And that's when the greater danger comes. That's when you start passing the blame, and then, you pass the blame to somebody, and then somebody pass the blame to you, and then, and then you both pass the same blame to everybody else, and it's just becoming a vicious cycle. All right? So taking responsibility doesn't mean that, you gotta be kind of like, you have to be like on top of your career or everything like that, but it's a matter of realizing, hey, I'm in a season right now, and I am, for example, if you're single, I'm single, I am responsible for my relationship with God. I'm responsible for whatever that God has entrusted in me, right? My finance, my school, my work, and everything like that. And then that's your sense of readiness before you go into a relationship, so that you know that you are not going to pass it on. That responsibility, you're not going to pass that on to somebody. That person will probably help you and complement you, help and complement Adam, but the responsibility is Adam. And what Eric says, the first thing that Adam did when committed sin is passing on the blame to the one that's supposed to help him. That's the bottom line of any relationship chaos that we have. Right. So that's taking responsibility. All right. Who's going first? Everybody clear on that? Yeah. All right.
Any questions?
Any questions on responsibility before we move on? No comments? Yeah. Good. Okay. Second, glasses. Most process you talk about, okay, the 5 things that we talked about in the first session, talk about it, our lifelong process. So is there a point of knowing that we are ready? Anybody have that question? How do we know that we're ready? Right? That kind of thing. And also, I think related to this question too, this is from the third session when we talk about character. Remember the Corinthians, love is kind, love is, there's a list of love, right? It's in the same theme, kind of like on the part of character based by love. Isn't it also a lifelong process? Like they won't fulfill all that list. I mean, that person that you're kind of like you're looking at will not fulfill all that list perfectly, right? So basically, the question of how do we know that it's time? How do we, set that standard and things like that? So yeah.
Okay. Well, based on my... Okay, so who's here is a finished product? No one's, right? Like we are not a finished product. Up until now, I'm not a finished product, and he's not a finished product until we die, and then Jesus will make us perfect. Yeah, complete and perfect. So we are not a finished product. So how do we know that we are ready? So there's a common cultural standard that applies in our environment. For example, in the 16th century or 18th century, 16-year-olds is ready to get married. Right? In a common culture, this person should be married with that family. So what happens if culture will be the standard of our readiness? That will be different. So 10 years ago with 10 years from now will be different. 100 years from now will be different. So I would say that we cannot depend on culture or environment situation to put a standard when you are ready. But back with what Ita said by what's the state of your relationship with God? Are you cultivating yourself or nurturing your character to be aligned with God's purposes? So it's not about the process, it's not about the result, but the state or the process. So God will not judge you because you're not having this result of certain traits of character. But will you working on that? Probably Eric will explain his findings about just yesterday. He read about what Jesus said when he ready to leave the disciple, about 2 parables about the girls who keep the oil and the 1, 2, and 5 talents. It's not about the result, but the state. God was not judging about, oh, why didn't you give me as an investor this much of talents? Or why didn't the girl keep the the light like burning brighter. No, but this is the state. Will you be conscious when God arrives? Will you nurturing? Will you keep your oil burning? So that's the state. So whenever you get you ready or not, with the standard of readiness, it depends on how the relationship with God, and it depends on how relationship with you yourself. And then you put the standard or the boundaries. So what kind of character that you're looking for, that the person that you're gonna spend the rest of your life? What kind of character or what kind of life value? That will be a standard. That's from my point of view.
For readiness, maybe if you ask yourself, are you ready? You will say no. No one is ready. But the needs to be ready is there, because we cannot stop time. We cannot pick and choose the opportunity that comes in our lifetime, and the society standard. That's the pressure in our lives. So, with all being said, how we gonna prepare ourselves and react to it? That matters. It's not about, oh, you will have this, then you are ready. Like pointing if you have a car and you have a GPS, right? Right? So, are you ready to go to that destination? Are you punching the right destination in your GPS? Right? But if you're only punching the destination without filling your gas, you're not going to reach there. Right? So that sense of you want to be there, you want to reach the destination. Good, making sense? Right? So if we're taking responsibility to ourselves and we want to build this relationship not as a resource to get something or get benefits for me, but taking the relationship as a goal, that means we have to work ourselves to build the relationship, not taking the relationship to reach the destination or to get the benefits. Do you get it? So in economics, my background is economic studies. So in economic, it's always there's resources. You have capital resources, you have human resource resources, and you have time or you have market. One of them, you use relationship to get the profit. That's economic. That's our word. But God, if you see it, the purpose of why we are created and the creation of the world and then why Jesus died, it's all about the goal is have a relationship with us. It's not the goal to get the relationship to have the blessings, to get the relationship to have to live abundantly, to have a relationship to get, oh, everything is okay, to get the relationship to understand, oh, we got have the comfort. No, the relationship itself is the goal. Can you imagine if I'm using my wife to have my benefit, just to get my comfort? I'm using her. I'm using my relationship just to be comfort. I'm using my relationship to get work done. Oh man. Right? But that's the world standard. You watch all the reality shows about relationship, or you watch the Kardashians and stuff, right? Using relationship to get work done. We're using the relationship to gain capital. What's your net worth? That's the society standard. But God's standard is relationship itself is the goal. Relationship itself is the goal. I'll show you some passage maybe at the closing on You can start opening if you want to watch. You want to read it. Start Rome 8. Romans 8. It's talking about the whole story is about the relationship. But if you're putting the standard wrong, then you're gonna react wrong. Then your decision will be wrong. The way you invest your time, the way you influence your money, how you cultivate yourself will be not in the same directions. Maybe it's too deep. But I just want to add what Lisa said about the parables. Sometimes it's more important, like the last message, what Jesus, before the crucifixion process, the last message. There are two parables. The first parable is about the 5 girls keep the light and bring the oil, keep the fire burning. You can, there's a Matthew 25. Yes, Matthew 25. That's they call it the 5 foolish girls. Just bring the lamp and accept the lamp will light for and stays on. And wise, clever girl, they put lamp and they bring oil with them and they prepare. Right? So it's the state, like punching the GPS, getting your car ready. It's not enough. Sometimes we have to work it. Have you changed the oil? Have you checked your battery? Fill up the gas. Or maybe if you have a Tesla, have you plugged in the charger? Have you checked how many charging stations to your destination? Sometimes we just, on the relationship, just go flat and then let's go. Let's see what happens. But yeah, it's not the result. We're not gonna get there like boom. It's like Star Trek. You warp to another place. Boom, boom. But no, that's not gonna happen. It's the process. It's the state that you need to be tuned. So if you never feel unconditional love, then I guarantee you will fail in any relationships. It's happened to me. I'm not born Christian. My mother is so hard. My family is a really hardworking Chinese family. And that's one of the base foundation, because I found God at my when I was 12 years old, and I found it. And thanks God, in whatever happens, it's not becomes like I reach the destination, I become ready. No, but I got that state that someone loved me, and that I received unconditional love. And I think, sometimes society put us on so many conditions, prerequisite conditions, or lots of, let's say, become an army. You cannot have a colorblind. You cannot have like any surgery, bad surgery, or certain heights. Become a doctor. You cannot have
Low grade.
what is it called?
Scissors?
But in God, when we receive that unconditional love and to be successful, with God relationship, we are the same. There's no condition. We are on the same level, right? So that's what makes me excited. To be successful in life is not just, there's no condition in God's eye. So that sense of readiness, it becomes like, I am in the state of building myself, have the relationship with God. Anything happens. A lot of things happen after I believe Jesus, and I get and I received that salvations, but through my journey, a lot of things happened. I did a lot of sins too. A lot of things, like a lot of foolishness, long terms, bad decision. It happens, but I always got that foundation. I always have someone that, oh, we are on the same level. There is a pertobatan. Repent. We always can. We always can go back to God. We always have. He always opened the door, opened the ways to go back to Him. So, yeah. And the second thing about those parables, the second one is when Jesus he made the parable that one trusted with 5 bags of gold, the other one 2 bags of gold, and the other one, and the last one is 1 bag of gold. That's the, are you gonna invest everything? Everything. So what happened? So you know what happened at the story, at the end of the story? 5, get 5 and then go, okay, come and enjoy, go enter the kingdom, enjoy the party.
Yeah, like Eric said that readiness is a work in progress and it never stops. Once it's hard for me to say that I'm ready. My story is like I am single until when I was 25 years old. So I have lots of friends. I like somebody, but I don't like ready. I was not ready. Not him.
That's okay.
Well, middle school, high school, lots of friends going here and there, but I don't feel that I'm ready for start a relationship. I also as kind of like stable, doesn't like change person kind of thing. So maybe I'm scared too. So maybe you feel scared too, like you're not ready, or you say that you're not ready, but at the same time that you feel that you're scared too. I experienced that. Because I don't like change, big change for sure, especially big change. So I just like enjoy myself at that time until I reached 25 years old. So like my friends, like as somebody dating, Saturday night in Indonesia is always like Saturday night going with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, spending time Sunday and every day. I was alone. Like in the mall, like I met my friends with their boyfriend, girlfriends. I was with my mom and my dad. At the time, I just feel like I'm okay, and I'm okay. Until like I'm like studying again, taking my responsibility to like command myself to start deeper, closer relationship with God, because I know that God is my center in my life. So I have to start myself with God. So I just like take that time. It's not perfect, up and down, on and off, but I just know that God is my center. So I just use that time to like God. What is it? God. Question 2: why I don't have any boyfriend? If I like somebody, will that be a smooth process for me to have a perfect relationship? And then along the way, like maybe I was like 22, 23, and because we went out, I have lots of cousins that similar age, so we went out here and there, and then my cousin has 2 friends, and we all going together here and there. So one of them, my cousin said, likes me. I don't like him, but maybe I'm scared too.
That was me.
And then I just feel that I'm scared that is he the one? Like, am I ready for that? But and then I just like kind of like close my heart too, not to like give the chance for my heart to be open for that relationship. So it's okay, it's normal if you have that kind of feeling that you just scared and you don't want to open your heart to have a relationship. But at the same time that you keep calm, like go back to God, like that you believe that He is the center, and then talk to Him, open your heart, talk and like ask anything to Him, because he guides you, he will lead you. So and then why I'm scared, then it's proven that I just don't want to start relationship because I'm not ready. So one day he, long story short, that he picked me up from church and then come to and then go to his house. At that time I said like, why you want me to come to your house? I just like question here and there. It's like friends, but yeah, because we have to pick up your cousin after. Oh, okay then. So it's like all the way then going there. Oh, okay then. I don't have any idea. But at the same time, like when we reach the house, and then on the table there are a lot of food. It's lunchtime. I said like, I don't want to have lunch here. Yeah, it's okay. Just snack. But you said that we just drove by to get something and then pick up my cousins. That's why sometimes like I question too much and then like scared me. So and then he like, okay, then we have a little snack. Okay, and then everybody stood up there, and then okay, just sit down. Okay, you first. No, you first. My friend said you first. Why I have to sit down at the first place? No, you're the guest. Oh, okay. Then my family is Chinese Indonesian, but not like Chinese from China. So there's no rules like, like where you want to sit when you have lunch. I don't know about him, right? Because it's only friends. And then as I pull a chair, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I pull this one, and then I sat down. And then it's kind of like short snack, talk, and then we left. And then we spent time with my cousin, and then the next few days, I heard from my cousin that, you just don't worry. Why? Because this guy just wanna be friends with you, not like more intimate or really closer relationship. Suddenly like change. That's why like it's not ever smooth, like in how we deal with somebody that we don't know, like or we know as a friend. And apparently that once he and the family knows that I pulled that chair on the head of the table, he thought that I will rule the family later on.
Yeah, thanks for
I just like, okay, and like I will like be as a leader, not let my husband do that. What? I just like, we're not dating and like starting anything. Like why you assume that I will take the lead, I will be a leader in the family. Like it's, for me, it's like too far. But that happens by like having like relationship or like friends with anyone. So maybe that becomes a trauma for me. Oh, I'm not ready yet because I don't want to face that kind of stuff. So you cannot measure that how you ready or not it's a long process. It's a, like Eric said, Lisa said, that it's a working progress. Maybe until now, it's a still working progress of the readiness of something that we set up as a family. So it's there's no like point that okay, I'm ready, and then along the way I have to be ready all the time. If something happen, if the storm's there, that because of I'm ready, I will take this, I will do this, and then it's something that it's not that like firm statement of readiness. So, but the foundation, the firm foundation that's always ready for you, because you have a good relationship with God, and your relationship with others as center. Center.
That is the same.
God is the center. For me, it's like that. So wherever you are and what state you are now, in what age you are now, and how your relationship with others, even though that you are now dating somebody, and you said that, oh, because I'm ready 2 years ago, or because I'm ready 1 year ago, it's not like 100% that a statement that readiness is there unless you have a firm foundation with God.
Yeah, the question of readiness, I think, is very objective. Subjective. Sorry, it's really depends on you, right? One of the things that I experienced is when I first kind of like, started dating process, I wasn't ready. That was high school, the end of high school. Everybody had a girlfriend. I don't. Then I had to have one, kind of thing, right? So whoever take me, I'll go with her, right? It lasted for about a month and a half. And then the second one, like I grew up in a family that very demanding in terms of you got to be a certain thing, you got to compare with your cousins and blah 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 blah. So I need somebody to kind of like support me, to be my sounding board, kind of like a shoulder to cry onto. Guys need that, okay? So right. So that's been that even I knew Christ, I received Christ, but then I'm still growing. I couldn't experience the unconditional love of Christ. So I need a love of a girl to secure me, and I couldn't get, I couldn't be close to guys. I shared my experience a little bit with you guys that I was abused in a homosexual relationship when I was in junior high, and that just drive me crazy. I couldn't be close to guys. So if I need a shoulder or I need to talk to somebody, it gotta be from the opposite sex. And that actually leads to another risk. That I start going out with people because I need somebody to be with me, somebody to talk to me. Right? And it's like that. Right? So I thought I was ready, I wasn't. Right? And so that, looking back, when we talk about readiness, I think the first question that we need to ask ourselves is, what is the goal of the relationship? The fairy tales, and I believe that before, like all the fairy tales, it always ends when the day they kiss and it says and they live happily ever after, right? And it shapes the way we think about relationship, and the relationship my relationship goal was walking in the aisle to the song of Pachelbel in Canon D, right? And wearing my tux, and the girls wearing the white gown. And that's it. Way, I'm finished, I'm done. And after that, the day after that and the year after that, it's just like, oh my God, what's going on? Right? So that's, when our goal is that day, and that day only compress, I don't know, how many point something percentage of your relationship life, right? If you focus on that, then, that is wrong. You really need to focus on something further. And what Eric said, that relationship, once you start a relationship with somebody and you say, yes, I do, and that relationship becomes a goal. That becomes your journey together. Until you, like the triangle, a picture like you and then somebody that you're with, and you're going to God together, and that's your responsibility in going that. But as you go to God, you're going to get closer, right? That's how it is, right? So it's really, the sense of readiness is, are you ready? Are you ready yourself? Can you be honest with yourself? Like the characters that we show, like, responsibility, oh, love is kind, and everything like that. Right, that's a lifelong process, but then that's something that we need to look at ourselves and say, hey, am I kind? Am I kind to everybody? Am I, not easily angered? If if you get pissed if you hear every little things that is wrong, then, sorry, maybe you're not ready. Because you're gonna lash it out on another person, and that other person may be the, significant others, right? And the same thing that when you actually gauge other people. Are they kind? And are they kind to you or kind to everybody? Because as Lisa said, when you want an apple up the tree, you're going to jump. You're going to climb that tree. Right? Once you get the apple, that's it. Sometimes the apple has no value anymore because you already got it. Right? So, when you're actually in pursuit of somebody, a girl or a guy, you're probably going to go an extra mile. Right? But you can't measure that as in, oh yeah, I love her so much. No. How's your relationship with other people? That's why the community is very important. Are you kind to other people as you are kind with that person? Because if, that person can be kind to you, but then if the person treats other people like garbage, it's just a matter of time before they're going to treat you like garbage when they think that they don't need you anymore. Right? So, it's a lifelong process, but then you kind of gauge. You will be able to evaluate. That's why, I talk about dating next week. It's a time of evaluation. So that, can you be honest with yourself? Can that person be honest with you? And be who they are with you? Because if not, then you need to be, to have an open conversation and say, hey, this is what I'm going to be expecting if I end up being with that person for the rest of my life. Right. So that's the sense of readiness in there. Are you ready to commit yourself for the rest of your life to that person? If you think that, I'm just going to try it out and see what happened in a year, well, that means you're not ready. You're not there. It doesn't mean that you have to get it right in the first time, because, sometimes we get the pressure. Well, we're Christian, we have to get it right in the first time. No, sometimes we don't. But the intention, when you're actually starting, when you pursue, it needs to be, hey, because I want to commit. Not just try it out and see what happens, and, hopefully, or, all these other things. Right? Because everything starts with friendship. You got to start with friendship first, and then, can you be friends with that person? That's basically. If you are just friends with that person, can you handle that person before you get it to the next? So that's in terms of when you're ready. I know it's a little bit long. Any questions on that? Yes.
I want to ask. There are a stigma that I heard before that when we are in a relationship, and for example, when we want to date someone, there's a certain practical things like, for example, you need to have a job first before you date because you will go out and you will spend money.
True. That's so true.
And then if you don't have a job, don't try to have a relationship with someone. And also when we want to get married, usually like, I also heard sometimes like, oh, you need to have a house, minimum one, and then the car.
That's true, yeah.
So, I want to know, with that stigma that I've heard, what are you guys have opinions about that? Is that true? Are you agree or disagree or have any comments? Thank you.
All right. Anybody who wants to go first? Anybody wants to take responsibility?
What's your experience with that when y'all got married? Did you all have a house?
No.
All right. Okay. You want to start? Let's just start.
Me?
She's ready more.
I'm not ready.
What is it? Okay. Where to start? Well, for me, I don't know. The girls are also agree with me or not here. There is a like woman needs a security, like something that like you feel secure. Um, and also like the maturity also like part of how you want to start the relationship. When it's not wrong to like somebody else when you are in high school or when you are in college, it's not wrong. I said, okay. It's not wrong. It's okay. It's normal too, right? But again, like you have to be like really know your identity, and then you are sure yourself that there is always consequences to have a relationship if you are still young, because first emotionally and second is like how mature you are, how you handle things happening when you are in a relationship. So it's not a myth to, I mean like it's a myth maybe to have like a statement that, oh, you have to have a house first, you have to have a car first, you have to have a job first for a man to start a relationship. No, there are a lot of people that have those kind of stuff, but they're not actually ready to have a relationship.
Correct.
How's your self become a maturity in your spirit and your relationship with God? How's your standard first? So before doing anything, then you have to know that the standard, the firm foundation that you have. So well, maybe like I know that where to start then the relationship. But that's not a guarantee that if you have a house, if you have a job, if you have lots of money, meaning that you cannot, yeah, you're ready. I have a friend that from college that she really wants to have a rich boyfriend. She ended up had she ended up like has had a rich boyfriend. He's nice. He's it's kind of like he's nice to us to like we sometimes went together, right? And then but he's so rich, and she is so proud of herself. And then she said that I feel secure because my marriage life will be like amazing, okay, nothing wrong, no worries about anything. And then like at that time we just like okay, just take your time, and then this advice and here and there. And then I also like was there at that time, and then we know that I was still at that time, yeah, I was 25 something, 26, and then she got married with that person. Big marriage, like oh my goodness, just like crazy. And until now, she was abused almost every other week from her husband. What can make she strong right now? Because she's now go back to Christ. It's because she's now like starting to realize that God is everything. Before she just kind of like, as long as I have lots of money, well, as long as I am happy, I'm not worried. Wanna go to Hong Kong today, tomorrow to Singapore, the next day to everywhere. She can do that. Actually. She has 2 kids right now, and she's one of my best friends too. And I just got a testimony after testimony from her. Why she doesn't leave her husband, even though right now she got abused. Until now, she got abused, like slapped, like just like lift and then throw to the door and everything. She still got that kind of stuff right now. But why she can be like a stronger woman right now, that she realized that God is firm foundation for everything actually. So she have a mentor right now. She built a relationship with her husband's family one by one. She is kind of like Sinatron. It's kind of like a drama, like Korean drama maybe. But that's true story for her. But she realized right now that whatever happened, it's always that she has to always come back to God and build relationship with God. It's not easy for her. She can leave anytime, and she has a good position at the office. She's pretty. She's nice, nice person. She has no reason to just stay with her husband, but she knows that God has a purpose in her life, and she want to pursue that. And she start like what you call go through the process of healing and everything at the church. And that's 5 things that she's now implementing it in her life. It's sometimes that people said it's too late. You have to do it before you married or when you are single. But this story, it's a true story and happened in her life. And she said that it's never too late. Just be strong, and then God is the first one and God is the center one. So back to your question is like the maturity of yourself and how your relationship with God and how you wanna start to pursue God's purpose in your relationship. That kind of measurement of how you feel that as a guarantee in your first step to have a relationship.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes we need to differentiate between culture and principle, right? Culture and principle. We need to stick to the principle, but culture can be different in different settings. Like what Raymond asked is like, I think bottom line is not really how much money you have, how many houses you have, how many cars you have, and everything, but is that person is willing to take responsibility. Like for me, when I get married, I bought the house before we got married because that time it was still cheap, so I kind of like, put money in there. When we got married, I still drive my dad's car, right? And then finally, throughout the course of marriage, we got our own car and we paid it off. We paid off the house, we expanded the house. And then after that, God says, get out of Indonesia, came back to Toronto. So as a family, we ended up living in my brother's basement for a few months, and then we rented an apartment for about a year or so, and then after that, we finally be able to kind of like own a house. So, economic change, right? But I think the matter is that person, or are you willing to take responsibility? Let's say you want to pursue somebody and you kind of like, of course, there's always a certain security that you need to provide, right? Especially guys, right? You don't want to ask your mom all the time. Says, "Mom, can I have $50 because I want to go on a date?" And then the next day, "Mom, can I have another $50? I want to go on a date." Right? Start taking responsibility. Get a part-time job or something, right? This is real. I mean, you can't, and then you can't go and then start. Hey, you want to be my wife, and after that you say, "Okay, Mom, can you pay for this? Can you pay for that?" You can't. There's a certain responsibility you need to take, and the question is, are you willing to take that responsibility? And that willingness to take responsibility, to take your responsibility, start very young. Don't, like what Ita said, like all of these points, you need to implement it somehow. It's just a matter of you want to start early or you want to start late. And starting late, of course, carries a lot of consequences. And are you ready to bear that consequences? That's just, I hope, does that answer your questions, Karan? Yeah.